Hi everyone, welcome back for week 7 of the 2012 NFL season. I went 4-4 again with my picks last week. The good news is though, the lines changed by the time the kickoff started. The only game I got wrong with my over-under, I actually pushed as the number moved up one. And I did get the Minnesota game wrong. That's the bad news. The good news is that by the time the game started, Minnesota had gone from a dog to a 2-point favorite, and I laid off that game. That's the really good news. The bad news, however, is that they lost to the Washington Redskins, and the incredibly bad news is now I have to give out a big shout out to the Mass Tweeter X. There you go, Mass Tweeter. I don't mind. He's a good guy. Make sure you check out his videos. Keeping that in mind, I have some excellent information for you. Here are my picks. So what have we learned so far through 6 weeks of the NFL? Well, the Dogs are 58-31-2 against the spread, including going 12-2 last week. That's a winning percentage of 65.2% against the spread. Home Dogs are 22-11 against the spread. That means that they're winning at 67% clip. The Dogs are 40-51 straight up, and Home Dogs are 19-14 straight up, for those of you who like to bet on the money line. Teams off the bye are doing very well as well. They're 5-1 against the spread and 4-2 straight up. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Teams going into the bye are 3-13 against the spread. Now you take 2 of those wins away because Chicago played Carolina, who was also going into the bye, and Denver played San Diego going into the bye. So teams that are going into the bye are really 1-11 against the spread for a winning percentage of only 8.3%, and they're only 3-7 straight up. So that's some pretty good information here. Keeping that in mind, our first game that we're going to look at has Dallas going to Carolina, where the Panthers are 2-point underdogs at home. So here we go. We have a home dog that's coming off the bye. Meanwhile, Dallas are coming off, this will be back-to-back road games for Dallas. They may have left it all on the field last week in that crushing loss at Baltimore. They've also lost their running back, and it could be a look-ahead game as next week they host the champion, the New York Giants. So take Carolina +2. The second game we're going to look at has Green Bay going to St. Louis. The Rams are 5.5 dogs at home. There's another home dog. The Rams are actually 3-0 straight up and against the spread at home this year. And this is the third straight road game for Green Bay, who are only 0-2 against the spread and straight up versus the NFC West. I think this will be a field goal game, so take the points. Take St. Louis +5.5. The third game we're going to look at has Tennessee going to Buffalo, where the Bills are 3.5-point favorites at home. I'm not willing to give Buffalo more than 3 points yet. They did win a game last week, but it's only one game. They're going into the bye, and I talked about what happens to teams going into the bye. Tennessee might be able to get their running game finally on track, as the Bills have the worst rush defense in the NFL. I think the Titans have some momentum coming off of that Thursday win against Pittsburgh. Take Tennessee +3.5. And the fourth game we're going to look at is the Monday Nighter. I'm going to go a little bit off here as Detroit is going to Chicago, where the Bears are 6-point favorites. I'm going to take the favorite in this game here. Chicago is coming off the bye. This is going to be their first home game in a month, and the defense leads the NFL in interceptions, and they brought 5 interceptions back for a touchdown. I think that alone will be the difference. The Bears are 7-1 against Detroit in their last 8 meetings, and 4 of those games they've actually won by double digits. I think this should not even be a close game. Take Detroit, lay the points. So rather take Chicago, lay the points. Take the Bears -6. Here are my 4 over-under plays. The first game we're going to look at has Arizona going to Minnesota. That number is 40. Arizona's only had one over all year, the week that I picked them to go under, naturally. But they're 5-1 under, and Minnesota's 4-0 under. So I like that as an under. Take under 40 points. Second game we're going to look at has New Orleans going to Tampa Bay. That number right now is sitting at 49.5. Very low for a New Orleans game. They haven't played a game under 50 yet. The only under that they've had all year, they still scored over 50 points. So take over 49.5. third game we're going to look at has Washington going to New York. That number is 50. It's pretty high as well, but these two teams are tied for third in scoring. I think they're averaging just under 30 points a game. RG3 is really doing well. Look what he did against my Vikings last week. I think there will be a lot of points scored in this game, so take over 50. And the last game we're going to look at has Pittsburgh going to Cincinnati. That number is 46. Pittsburgh seems to follow trends. Last year they would go under, over, and that's what they did almost all year until Pittsburgh's quarterback Ben Roethlisberger got hurt. Well, so far this year, they've played 2 unders, and they were both at home, and they played 3 overs on the road. This is a road game for Pittsburgh, so let's take over 46. Here are my straight-up plays for this week. If you're still alive in your suicide pool, you really can't depend on Atlanta or Houston this week. The Falcons are on their bye, and the Texans lost last week. I don't know if they'll lose 2 in a row, but they are in tough as Baltimore comes to town. And this is a battle for a top spot in the AFC. I'd leave that one alone. You could go with the Thursday night game as Seattle goes to San Francisco. The Niners are probably very upset about losing last week as badly as they did. I don't know if they'll lose 2 in a row. San Francisco could be a really good play here. The Jets are at New England. This is the highest spread of the week. It's another division game, probably a safe one, but you never know with Rex Ryan and the Jets. They might pull something out of their hats. Myself, I'm going with the Monday nighter. I talked about that one earlier. I really like Chicago at home here. They haven't played in Chicago in a month, and they're coming off of a bye. This will be back-to-back road games for the Lions. I like Chicago. Okay, so those are my picks for this week. Good luck to you. Now, some of you already know about my app that I have. It's called the gioawards 12 app, and here it is right there for your iPhone or for your iPad. Now, what I'm doing is I'm working on another one that will have everyone's video who makes NFL prognostication videos on YouTube. And if you're interested in having yours on the app, give me a PM on my YouTube channel and let me know. Okay? All right. For the GeoKnows YouTube channel, I am Geo. Let's take the man's money.